Okay, so you know that feeling. You're at your desk, maybe just after lunch, and suddenly it's like your eyelids are made of lead.
Oh, yeah. That heavy, kind of tired slump where concentrating just feels
Yeah.
impossible.
You are definitely not alone in that, and that's what we're digging into today.
Exactly. We're doing a deep dive into something that honestly probably affects almost every office worker, but we just don't talk about it much.
Right. How our diet, the processed stuff, maybe skipping meals, those sugar highs and lows, how it's all really draining our energy at work, often without us even realizing the connection.
Yeah, profoundly draining us.
So our mission here is to uncover that sort of hidden impact, to really get why your lunch might be making you tired instead of, powering you through. We're looking at your sources, digging out the key insights.
Let's start with the processed foods, ultra-processed foods, UPFs they call them.
Yeah, UPFs. So we're talking about like pre-packaged meals, maybe the chips from the vending machine, those really quick, convenient snacks. They are just everywhere.
They really are ubiquitous. And the stats are pretty startling, actually. Did you see that 85% of employees eat these UPFs weekly?
85%,
And get
man.
this 20%. So 1 in 5 are eating them every single day.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a huge chunk of the workforce basically running on this stuff.
And the key thing, I think, is that it's not just about weight gain, which is kind of the first thing people think of.
Right.
But these foods, they're fundamentally low in the important stuff, the micronutrients.
Hmm.
Things like B vitamins, magnesium, fiber, all crucial for actually turning food into energy and keeping blood sugar stable.
So without those, it's just draining.
Genuinely draining, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a study from Lysum that really highlighted this. They found 74.5% of people blamed UPFs for a poor mood.
Okay.
A huge 78.6% blamed them for low energy.
That makes sense.
And 62.3% reported cognitive fog. That sort of brain fuzziness.
Wow. So it's mood, energy, and thinking clearly. It hits everything.
Exactly. And it's not just a physical thing either. We also saw this direct link between eating processed food and higher stress levels.
Oh, interesting. How does that work?
Well, it seems workers who are already under pressure are actually twice as likely to reach for these kinds of foods.
Ah, so it's a cycle then. Stress makes you grab the junk, and the junk maybe makes the stress worse. Or doesn't help, at least.
Precisely. It's a really nasty cycle. Stepping back a bit, when you're stressed, your body basically screams for quick energy, right?
Yeah, like sugar or fat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which processed foods deliver in spades. But the problem is they don't have the nutrients to sustain that energy or to help your body manage the stress response properly.
So you're still stressed, you've eaten badly, you feel worse.
And then you crave more of the same stuff. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
Which brings up the whole sugar question on its own.
Right, the sugar roller coaster. Because sugar feels like a quick fix, doesn't it? That immediate jolt.
It absolutely does. But, and this is the kicker, it inevitably leads to a pretty significant energy crash later on.
Yes. Yeah, I think we've all felt that one.
And there's science to back it up. A big meta-analysis looked at 31 different studies, confirmed that carbs, especially simple sugary ones, can actually reduce your alertness within just an hour of eating them.
Within an hour. So that quick boost really backfires fast.
It really does.
And didn't one of the articles we looked at mention productivity? Something about a 20% drop?
Yes, exactly. A clear link reported between high sugar consumption and a 20% drop in overall productivity.
20%. I mean, when you think about a whole workday, that's a lot of lost effective time.
It's substantial. And this really gets us into talking about those classic symptoms, the post-lunch drowsiness, struggling to concentrate, maybe reacting slowly if someone asks you a question.
Yeah, the dreaded food coma.
That's classic food coma territory, exactly. What's happening physiologically is your body processes that sugar super fast, right? Blood glucose spikes. Then it crashes down hard.
And that crash leaves you feeling sluggish.
Sluggish, struggling to focus. It's almost like your brain just hits a temporary pause button.
Okay, let's pivot slightly. Another really common office habit, skipping meals.
Oh, yeah. Super common.
How many times do you hear someone say they just, powered through lunch or didn't have time for breakfast?
All the time. But skipping breakfast or lunch, it really messes with your system. It disrupts your blood sugar, your metabolism.
Meaning your body just can't get that steady, consistent energy supply it needs.
Exactly. You end up with those frustrating highs and then big crashes. No consistency.
And this isn't just like a feeling. There was a study you found, right, on urban office workers.
Yes, and the stats were pretty concerning. 68% admitted skipping meals regularly.
Wow, more than 2/3.
Yeah. And 74% said they felt stressed. But maybe the most alarming thing, 45% were pre-diabetic,
Nearly half. Pre-diabetic.
meaning nearly half are already having significant trouble regulating their blood sugar. And that translates directly to unstable energy and focus during the day.
Because the brain needs fuel.
Needs steady fuel. Its primary fuel is glucose. So when you miss meals, you're basically starving your brain of that consistent supply.
Which leads to, what? Weak focus.
Weak focus, definitely.
Yeah.
That pervasive fatigue, even poor decision-making. Your brain just isn't firing on all cylinders.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the problems, the processed food drain, the sugar roller coaster, skipping meals. Let's talk solutions. If we figured out what not to do, what's the blueprint for actually building sustainable energy?
Right. And the science here is actually quite encouraging. It points clearly towards whole, nutrient-rich foods.
So like veggies, nuts, whole grains, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. That kind of stuff. These foods actively support crucial brain functions. They help regulate dopamine that's linked to motivation, focus.
Right, dopamine.
They help with stress control. They boost overall brain function. It's really about giving your body the right building blocks to work with.
Makes sense. You need good materials to build something strong.
Precisely. And there was a key study here, the GIA study, that gave some really compelling insights. It showed that a diet rich in plants, an anti-inflammatory diet, significantly reduced things like emotional exhaustion,
Okay.
cognitive fatigue, and even burnout.
Burnout, too. Wow. So the impact goes way beyond just physical energy. It's mental, emotional resilience as well.
Absolutely. Diet plays this powerful role that extends right into how we cope and perform at work.
So the million-dollar question then, how do we actually do this? And practically speaking, especially when work is so busy.
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? It comes down to balanced meals, making sure you're getting a good mix of protein, fiber, and healthy fats.
Why that specific combination?
Because those components work together. They slow down digestion, they help stabilize blood sugar. Basically, they help you avoid those dramatic sugar crashes we talked about.
Ah, okay. So it's about sustained energy release, not those quick spikes and dips.
Exactly. Consistent alertness throughout the day.
Which sounds ideal, but again, the practicalities in the office.
This is where practical solutions in the workplace itself become really vital. The goal has to be making healthy choices easy, convenient, right there when you need them.
So, like, changing what's available.
Yeah. Imagine, say, an office wellness shelf or fridge that's actually stocked with genuinely nourishing options.
What kind of things are we talking about?
Oh, maybe Greek yogurt, some almonds or other nuts, pre-cut veggies with hummus for smart snacking, things that are easy to grab.
Right, easy stuff. What about quick energy that isn't sugar?
Good question. Maybe low-sugar protein bars that have real ingredients you recognize. Even things like electrolytes can be helpful. They're important for nerve function, cellular energy, not just hydration.
Electrolytes, interesting. I usually just think of those for sports.
They play a role in basic energy processes too. And looking even further ahead, it's kind of fascinating to think about personalized nutrition.
Like tailored advice.
Yeah, maybe even AI-suggested supplementation down the line. Imagine getting specific recommendations for, say, B vitamins or magnesium based on your needs to support focus and energy.
Taking the guesswork out of it.
Exactly. No guesswork. Just targeted support.
When you pull all this together, the potential impact is huge, isn't it?
It really is. Just picture it. No more of those groggy, half-asleep post-lunch meetings.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Instead, you got energized afternoons, productive discussions, people actually feeling sharp and engaged, free from that awful post-lunch slump.
Okay, so maybe final thought for everyone listening. The next time you feel that, that infamous 3 o'clock fog rolling in, just take a second and ask yourself, was it really lack of sleep? Was it stress? Or could it have been the sugar? Or maybe the lunch you skipped?
That's a great question to ask. And it leads to the next one, really. Are you just like putting a Band-Aid on the symptom, maybe grabbing more caffeine, or are you actually trying to fix the underlying cause?
Right. Because understanding how much your diet impacts how you feel and perform, that seems like the fundamental first step.
It really is. Towards consistently feeling better and, frankly, doing better work.
And it's empowering, too, isn't it? Remembering that whether it's packing smarter choices from home or maybe even advocating for better options at your workplace, making it easier to support your own well-being is possible. It's within your control.
Absolutely. Because ultimately, when you feel good, you do good work. It's that simple. Maybe something to mull over is this. How much more impactful, maybe even fulfilling, could your workday actually be if you consistently felt energized, clear-headed, and, truly present?